Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pickleton for part 3 of my beginner City Skylines 2 beginner's guide. And I will say this and probably reiterate it, but I use the word guide very, very loosely, and mostly because so many people in the comments used it themselves, saying that they were using this as a guide. And again, super flattered that you are doing so. I will again, of course, repeat this throughout the series, but I am not an expert in this game. I've sure learned a lot, I've played a lot of it, and I would like to share what I know with others, but I do not know... Whoa! What happened over there? I do not know everything. So, I do not know everything, but I am thrilled that you guys are using this as a guide, and I'm happy to help you along in learning the game. And I'm learning it myself, and I'm learning so much from all of you in the comments as well, and for that, I have to express my appreciation. I really do enjoy all the comments giving me other little tips and tricks, pointing out things that I've missed. Because when you're in the middle of it, talking and playing and doing all these things, like, it's easy to miss stuff. So I do really appreciate everybody who points those things out so that I can make my city look how I want it to look. And in line with that, there are a couple things that I need to address in the city that were pointed out to me. So one is back here. I forgot to come back through and fill in these little sides here of my row housing. So we'll go ahead and do that. There were a couple people who pointed this out, I think, if I remember correctly. So thank you. That is sorted. And actually, I guess while we're here, I can just go ahead and do the back row as well. And they're growing in right away because we've got plenty of demand, so I can actually just fill in the sides now, and then I don't have to worry about having forgotten it. And that sapped pretty much all of our medium density for the time being, so cool. That'll take care of that. And then Pilot Builds Cities, another content creator in the Cities Skylines community, a great creator, by the way. Feel free to please go check out their channel as well. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Pointed out that I had inadvertently, when I put this turn in here, I'd gotten these traffic lights, which I do not want. So I'm going to go into my advanced road services and just knock those puppies out of there. I don't want those. They really shouldn't be necessary here. I mean, maybe we can have that one coming off of the highway. But I definitely don't want one on the slip road here. Though I really don't think that it'll be aggressively busy at the moment. And I'm actually considering downgrading this road to a highway road, actually. So why don't I actually, while we're here, I'll do that. I want to actually start from this end, though, because I want to make sure it lines up in the middle of the road. Okay, there we go. Because these road tools are super fluid, and if you take off all the snappings, they get even more wiggly. So there's that to remember, to keep in mind. And there we are. So, and that might have actually, so even just upgrading this took care of the traffic light anyway, got rid of it. So that's something as well. But I think this is probably a more realistic way to have the road layout here, kind of coming out of the denser city area and into what will mostly be countryside. I think I want to do a little suburb up here. Maybe eventually kind of put the gated community policy on it. We don't have that yet, but those are just future plans I'm thinking about. So, now, while I have so many plans for this city, and now that we've reached the 4th milestone, we have so many things... Oops, wrong one again. So many things available to us from that last milestone. So we got district creation tool, which I will get to at the end. We had some really great suggestions for district names, so I'll do those at the end. And we've unlocked the production panel, so we can kind of see like what our city is and isn't making, what we need. Obviously, everything is in a deficit pretty much at the moment because we're not really producing much. I'm not really sure how we have a surplus in this, but that does remind me, as a disclaimer, the production panel of imports and exports is still currently bugged, so that actually might explain this, because we're not producing any goods in our city quite yet. We just unlocked 2 more specialized industries, but... So, while we are going to get into specialized industry today, that is kind of going to be the main focus, I do want to reiterate that the system of imports and exports and the whole kind of production mechanic in the game is pretty bugged at the moment, as far as I understand it. Things aren't really adding up to what is and isn't being made in your city. We are still going to get into it just to show you how the method of like how you place the buildings and areas that they need to go in and all of that stuff. But if you find that you're not making money this way, which it in theory should, it's probably because there's still kinks being worked out. And I know that the devs are hard at work doing so. So hopefully that is addressed really soon. I know they've been doing like weekly updates, so maybe in this next one. We've unlocked natural disasters. So nobody said anything about this. I can't remember specifically if I asked or not. But if you want to see natural disasters and kind of all the things that go with it, like the early detection systems and kind of preparing and what happens after a disaster in your city, feel free to drop a comment below whether or not you want to see that. Because we could totally get into it. It will obviously change a lot of how you do your city if natural disasters are enabled and if you can be affected by those, because you'll have to plan a little bit differently. So leave a comment below if you want to see natural disasters, because we can certainly do it and kind of learn that mechanic together. Then we have the low rent housing, low density office, grain and forestry, which we will for sure get into forestry. I'm not sure about grain farming. We'll see. Transportation, which we might not get into today because it's kind of a big deal. We might want to do a specific episode on that, maybe in the next one. And then parks and recreation, which we will drop a couple parks in here. So that's everything that we unlocked at the very, very end of the last episode. And then a little bit of policies, which if we go into our city information panel, we have policies. And the only thing that we have is a taxi minimum fare. Those are the only ones it's the only one that's open right now, and we don't have taxis. So we don't really need to get into that today. So, the main goal today is to kind of address some of these situations here with our demand, and also get into this hill and start working on producing goods in our city locally. So we have a couple icons here, which is not enough customers. And a super easy way that we can get rid of that problem is just to get rid of the building, honestly. So we have a little bit of demand for low rent housing. So if I pause the game and I knock out one of these buildings one by one, we can see the footprint of the building. And I'm just going to replace that exact area with low rent housing. And then we'll do the same with this one. Although I don't want one that big, I'll make a smaller one here. And that should probably help with that. I mean, it'll got rid of the building, so it'll certainly help in that sense. And then we have another one over here. So we have a little bit of demand for office, so I might just replace it with an office building instead. Knock that guy out, and there we go. I mean, those are not obviously permanent solutions to the problem, but sometimes it's just a matter of that thing doesn't belong in that space. So if you were running into that problem of not enough customers, if you look at your info views, I know I turn mine off all the time because it's super bright, but you want to find areas like this. Now, orange is not the highest, so if we look over here, it says customers, and the terrain color will turn a dark green if there's a lot of customers in that area. Now, naturally, over here, not a lot of customers. It's a low-density area. There's not a ton of people, so it makes more sense that, you know, the customers would be over here. We've got some medium density over here, so if you're struggling with that, try to relocate maybe some of your commercial zones into areas that are either orange or especially if they're green, which we don't have quite yet, but we only have a population of 1,200 people, so that's to be expected. And then we can also address a little bit of the low density housing stuff, and I want to throw a little bit in here. But yeah, see, it switches on me a lot, but we'll throw some in here. Along there and along there, and we will knock out a little bit of this industry. Like I think I had mentioned I wanted to do that at the end of the last episode, that I wanted to move some of this stuff out of this area. So we are going to do that right now. So we can just fill in a little bit more of our low density and tackle a little bit of that demand. Since we've sort of been ignoring it for the past couple episodes, it is time that we do a little bit of addressing the demand. So, yes. Oh, Pop Musician Mansion. Okay, we will talk about this in a second as well. While you don't want to like endlessly just keep filling and, you know, zoning and waiting and zoning and waiting to fill these demands, obviously, you know, if you're running into some problems in your city, looking at the demand and seeing what your city needs is the natural step there. So we have high rent still, but it's fine. It's only the one person. They'll get over it. So let's get into what I want to do over here. So we have obviously tons of trees, which is another reason why I didn't want to get rid of this area, because we can use it to our advantage. So what I would like to do is go into our road tools here. Okay, so I want to go into my small roads, and I want to get it up into here. And I want to do two things with this hill. One, I want to have, like I said, a little suburb of sorts, though we probably won't actually zone it in this episode. I'll just kind of prepare it for stuff. And then some forestry. But what I need to do first is connect these two highways together and sort of get them prepared to go that direction. So I'm going to jump into that really fast, and I'll catch you when I'm finished with that. Okay, so there we go. We've got that sorted out now. And now I need to get a road up into this little hill. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult with the trees, and ordinarily I would suggest you clear them out. But the thing with trees and forestry in this game, since there's the whole mechanic of the fact that like trees actually grow over time, how large your trees are affects how much lumber and timber and everything that you get from those trees. So for your forestry areas to be most efficient, they need to have fully grown trees. So that's why we're not going to actually get rid of them. But you can still work with the terrain and see what it is that you need. So I want to find a little flatter spot to come out of. So I want to go just a little bit out at 90 degrees from about here. And then if you zoom in, you can really see like where the contour lines are. And again, without the trees, this would be a lot easier. And again, the only reason why we're not doing it is just because it's not going to be effective that way for what we actually are using this for. But then if I go into our continuous road tools, and if I drag out from there, you can see sort of what the incline looks like. And so we're going to kind of do not exactly like a switchback, but sort of gently incline up this hill. So we've got a 1.7 incline, like I'm happy with that. And we can, let's see if we can get it a little bit. 3.6 is not too bad, so we'll go with that. Yeah, we'll stick with that. And let's see. Now I've lost it with all the guides going on here. It looks like it's about 3-ish here, so that's fine by me. And then this should be no problem to get up the rest. 3.9, 3.7, there we go. So a little bit of a gentler incline there. And then just sort of meander this around. Then we can see if we can try to get it back down at another point. It's pretty steep here. Maybe we can smooth this out just a touch more. Because I do want there to be a couple entry and exit points here for any cars coming in here to get out of. So, let's see. 4, I'm happy with a 4 curve. Or 4 incline, sorry. Let's see. 4.8 is okay. Let's see if we can actually do a little bit of a sloping and help this situation out even more. So maybe if I go like this. Here, let's do it from here. And we'll sort of slope it up to that area. Get rid of our road. Knock that back just a little bit. So we'll right-click where we want the height to be. And then we'll, from where we want it to go, we'll left-click and bring it up. And then we can probably get a nicer curve coming down with a gentler incline. Oops, 7's a little bit much, but we can work with it still. It's not horrible. I mean, if you look at it, it's not awful. It could be a lot worse. I've definitely seen some serious inclines in cities before. I mean, my city has like a bunch of ridiculous inclines where, you know, certain vehicles aren't even allowed to go on that road. So, but this should be fine. So we've got an entry point there. We'll keep this going. Where's the point where we kind of made it up the hill? So about here. We can smooth this out a little bit here as well. Maybe even slope it a little ways. And then smooth it. We should be able to get another road out this way. And so we'll bring that in here. Got the right road, right? Yeah, okay. So, and we can meander this around a little ways as well. About to there. Whoop. Okay. And we'll just hook it right back up into that other road. So, very nice. Now what we can do is grab some dirt roads. So I want to actually... Now, there's one other thing that I want to do here, and this is purely an aesthetic choice, honestly. I'm not going to lie. This is purely for aesthetic purposes. It's not really going to boost our production of energy, electricity, but I want to put some windmills up on this hill. So, I'm going to. This is not maybe the best financial decision, I will be honest. But I really like the look of them, and I want to use them. So if you want to hook them up, since they don't come with roads themselves, you can do this above ground or underground, and it'll, you know, create, if you go above ground, it'll create the little poles, which I don't want, because in the trees that seems dangerous. Or you can go underground. So that's what we're going to do. So if you hit the page down tool, again, you can go underground, or it's also this little icon here. So we'll go under, and yeah, as soon as we feel it snap in, you can kind of see it snap. Connect them all up together. Let's grab that one, okay? And then you will need to connect them to a road, so we'll do that. And realistically, this should be on a road, so, I mean, at least to have some sort of maintenance or something. Oh, it doesn't let me go all the way up to it? Okay, well, fine. That's fine. Not really. It was just, like, for aesthetic purposes again as well anyway. So, okay. So we will bring out a dirt road from about here, and then we can actually we'll sort of connect it in that way. And then, now we haven't talked anything about specialized industry quite yet. I was kind of saving it for this area because we have a ton of the resource, so it makes sense to kind of put it here. But to get there, you go into your zones and then your specialized industry tab. And then in this case, we're going to use forestry. And then you plop the building. So we're going to drop this one here. And then it works the same way as, we actually haven't used anything that does this yet. The landfill works a similar way. And what you do is it'll give you a little node that you can start kind of placing. And that'll determine the area that this building will operate in. So, I mean, I didn't do this in the most efficient manner because the area of operation is quite large. You can see this green circle. That's the whole area that this building could operate in. But it's not going to fill that whole area. I'm actually trying to think. if I want to do this slightly differently. No, I think this is fine. So, did it do that thing? We'll see. Okay, so it doesn't look like the building is actually there, so we'll see about that when I'm finished here. Because that does happen sometimes. I think just another bug in the game at the moment. But yeah, so you draw out these little nodes for the area that this building will operate in, and if you want to follow the road and it's on a curve, you're just going to need to make like smaller distances between your nodes. So if you just kind of go along the road, and then we can actually see the road if we do it like this. And then so I'm just gonna follow along the road and encompass this entire area. Yeah, and so what a waste of my time. So sometimes what happens, again, it's just a bug. The building doesn't actually show up and it says like no car access, there's no building. Just delete it and start again. At the moment, that's just like a bug in the system, so I'll go through and do this again really fast here. Okay, so that is a complete area now. And then you'll notice that we obviously still have a couple problems and that we don't have any water or sewer hooked up to this. So that would be because of this highway road that we created. So highway roads do not carry pipes or electricity under the water. And so I'm pretty sure these are also not connected to the outside. So if I look at our services, sorry, it should still say, yeah, that we're not exporting any, though we should be with this. These are the only things that are supplying power to this area. So there are two ways that we can carry water and electricity along a highway road. That was driving me crazy, so I'm going to smooth that out really fast. There are two ways that we can do this, especially since we have the road tools unlocked. So what you can do is, and what I plan to do in this case, is to actually put lights on the highway road. So if you go into your advanced road services here, you can go to lighting, and then you can just upgrade the entire street, and it'll have lights on it. So then if we look down, you see the little lights there now. And if we even see them kind of in action, if we just go into our settings really quickly, we can go to gameplay, yeah, day and night visuals on, and then hop into our cinematic camera, or our camera mode, and go time of day, pop that into the nighttime. Ooh, there we go. Now that it's adjusted, and then we can see the lights on the road. And then you can see that they just kind of stop over there where we turned them off, or where we didn't draw it out any further than that. And now they're all connected. So I'm going to turn that out, and then I'm going to turn off those day-night visuals. I would love to keep the day-night visuals on, but they do, like, the nighttime lasts a really long time when you're playing, and it's, like, impossibly dark. Like, you can't see anything, so it just makes it very difficult to build. But that only carries the electricity, not the water, so we still need to connect that up. So we'll just grab our double pipes over here, connect it right down at the end of this road, and then if you've ever watched City Planner Plays, we are going to keep them right under the road, right where they belong, and connect them up. And there we go. All problems solved. Now, the other way that you can continue with electricity along a road that doesn't carry it by itself already is to, well, you can just draw the pipe under the water like that, or draw the connection underground. But another way that you can do it that adds a little bit of something to your city is, let's get rid of that view, is use poles, like actual power lines, the kind that you might see along a road. So if you get close enough to the road, it'll kind of like snap on there, and you can see the little connection there, and then you can just kind of drag it along the road, and it'll connect up that way. Which I do kind of love the aesthetic of this, so I'm gonna we'll drag this out this way for on this one, just because I really do love the aesthetic of the power lines along the roads. This was a sorely missing mechanic that a lot of people missed in Cities Skylines 1, because you needed mods to be able to do this. Otherwise, you just had like these giant pylons, kind of like wherever you wanted to put them, and it's just not really realistic to have these in the middle of your city. You would obviously much more likely find something like this. So there we are. And now if we, again, it is bugged, so take this all with a grain of salt. But if we look at our production panel, we can at least see that we should be producing some and have a surplus now. And then if you click on the building, actually, you can find out a little bit more about it. So if we'll do that here, we see level 1 out of 5, which is different from Cities Skylines 2. The individual buildings didn't really have numbers like that. or like levels like that. Efficiency is at 104%, but it doesn't have enough employees. I mean, -4% for that. You have 8 out of 10. You guys are not doing that bad. Relax. But it produces wood, so naturally. But you can see, you know, more stats about the building that way. And you can actually do that with just about any building in the city. So you can see this one, efficiency 102, 17 out of 18. What's making it unhappy? Not enough employees. You're missing 2 employees. You need to calm down. Employee happiness, city production specialization. All you can find out so much information about it. So it's called Almost Meat. A little sketchy. Requires vegetables and livestock, and then it creates food. It produces food. So vegetables and livestock are other things that we have already unlocked. We've, well, unlocked a little bit of grain and then livestock farming. Now, forestry requires, obviously, a forest to work. You need to have the resource there. For both stone mining and livestock farming, you don't actually need the resource. So I'm going to dive into a little bit of livestock farming as well. And to do so, I'm actually just going to grab this tile right here. We've got what, high rent over here still? High rent. Yeah. We'll be getting into that. Not enough customers. Oh, it went away. Lovely. Same thing over here though. Not enough customers. So we can just zone up a little bit more residential around this, and that should actually help take care of things a little bit. They want to be where the people are. So that we can address there. Okay, so back to what I was doing over here. We're gonna just drag this road with our regular road, not a dirt road. We're gonna drag this road out this way. I know there's like a sweet spot I can get it over this rail line. I know I can. There we go. Nice. Okay, so sometimes, yeah, if, you know, you're getting errors about, you know, curve too tight or whatever other road errors, sometimes if you just make your segments a little bit smaller, you can kind of sort it out a little bit that way. So we're just going to drag this road out here. And I'm just going to run it right there. And then I want to go ahead back into our specialized areas here and grab a livestock farm. I don't know if this is the most realistic place that you would find one of these in the real world, but we're going to do it anyway. And we're going to fill out this whole area that it allows us, right up to the rail tracks and up to this road. Let's see if I can get a little closer so I can get it right where I want it. There we go. Then it should just go straight down and connected. Complete. There we go. And now people are not, I've seen that people are not a huge fan of these livestock farms. And I gotta agree that they're not my favorite with these buildings just kind of like popping up in the middle of what really just looks like a wheat field. But I mean, I guess it could be worse. I don't know. I don't know if that's fair enough assumption. It could be worse. It's true. It could be, but that's, you know, not the best thing either. So I'm just going to smooth out a bit of stuff around here so it doesn't look so goofy. Like over here. So if you get like this weird, you know, platformy kind of stuff, the best solution that I found is that if you just kind of flatten it to the area of the building, and just kind of flatten it around outside of, you know, around the area of the building, and then kind of just go through with your softening tool and just, whoops, wrong button. Softening tool, that's what we want. You can kind of clean it up a little bit so it looks, you know, like that looks much nicer now. It doesn't look like a weird platform. So that's a way to kind of address that situation. And then we can see here, 99%. I mean, we just placed it. So, you know, it's going to take a minute here. It's going to take a second, but to get functional. But there we go. So we've got a little bit of livestock going on, a little bit of forestry going on. Let's check out our production panel. So now we can see we've got surpluses in both of those two things. We're producing them locally. And then these will go on. If you look into the right panel here, we can see we have, it goes into processing of certain kinds of foods and also clothing, it looks like. And you can see all the details of all these things in your production panel. So we have materials and then material goods, which are used, you know, made using the materials. So like we had what, convenience food it was, food and textiles. So, and then we have immaterial goods, which is like what our office industry will deal with mostly. And yeah, so we can see we have lots of deficits in these things. So like convenience food, we need obviously the livestock, but also grain. Now grain, however, does require a little bit extra resource. So that one has to be underneath, it has to have fertile land. So to find where those areas are, if you go into your info panel and then natural resources, you can see where everything is at on the map. Now, the closest area and like where we've already been expanding towards is over here. So that would be naturally where we should go next to unlock that resource, to get a little bit of that going on in our city as well. Which I think is what we'll do by just grabbing a couple more tiles. And then if we still have enough tiles left over, there's one other thing that I would like to do in the city. So let's keep this on while I select the tiles so I can make sure to grab the right ones. And I think that'll do. We'll purchase those 4 tiles. Do I want the one with the little lake in it too? Like, am I going to need that? So if I use all of the tiles, I can do both of the last 2 things that I want to do in this episode. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna do it. We will be hitting another milestone not too far off. So, and I haven't even placed any of my parks yet, and that will definitely boost us up a level. So I'm gonna go ahead and yes, use all of our remaining tiles. Now I don't love to do that because, then you get yourself in a pickle where, okay. Anyway, you get yourself in a pickle where you can't progress forward in the way that you want to because you need tiles or development points, and then you have to wait for a milestone. So I don't advise using all of your development points or all of your expansion permits all at once if you can avoid it. But sometimes it is necessary. And, eventually we'll be having so many points and map tiles that it won't even be an issue. So I think I want to have these two just sort of conjoin these 2 highways into maybe a 4-lane road. We'll connect them up sort of at a 4-lane road. I think we'll have it kind of run along this lake. A pond. I don't know. Would we call that a lake? Probably not. So I'll go ahead and overlapping items. What is there? Oh, a little house. Okay, get rid of the house. We don't need that there. Okay, so I'm just sort of preparing where I want this road to go first, and then I'll have the road join up. So I'm thinking we'll have it kind of come along on this curve and go off in that direction. Oops, keep that. Just grab the straight tool and probably have it kind of like go out this way somewhere. And we can have it sort of veer off. Let's grab our curve tool and have it go that way. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. And then we'll drag this out just a little bit further. Let's see. Where do I want this to go? Oh, let's get our 180 degree angle first. And then I think here works pretty well. This might be a good place also to put in a rail yard. I don't think it's very flat though, so we probably will have to work with that. But it's not awful. So gosh, how different it looks without the contour lines on. Like, that looks flat from here. But when you throw those contour lines on, you can really see what's going on over here. I don't know if I like that, but how steep is this anyway? Plus, first of all, it's going uphill. It doesn't even look like that. It looks like it's going downhill. Okay, so plus 5 incline. I mean, it's not the worst, but it definitely won't do for a rail yard. But let me just knock this area out this way. I'm just thinking kind of out loud here and preparing because I know that we will want a rail line, because I would like to have, some smaller towns or like even another little city somewhere in this area. So preparing that ahead of time and like getting, transportation stuff ready, not a bad idea. And, of course we have our rail right here. So yeah. But that is very far, maybe not very far in the future, but it's in the future. But if you're looking forward to it, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that episode when we bring trains in. Okay. So we'll join these together then. Do I even need this? I don't think I do. I don't think I need this. We'll just actually get rid of this. This is stupid. We don't need that. And then we can actually do some maybe more like farms or even like a small little town out here kind of along the water. A farming town. Maybe combine a little bit of both. We'll think about it. We're getting pretty long into this episode already, so I want to start wrapping it up. So yeah, we'll just do that. And then come back over here and find where our fertile land is. So I'm going to grab the roads first, then turn on our natural resources view, and then we can see exactly what we've got going on here. So let's see. I think I'll take a straight road out from about this area. Maybe we'll do some houses and things or something along this way here. And then we'll grab a dirt road. So I'm going to bring it straight out and then just kind of weave it in here a little bit. And we'll just leave it for that for now. And I think we'll just, for making sure we don't have cul-de-sacs, I'm just going to drag it in here just to connect it for the time being. It probably won't stay connected in that manner, but for now it's fine. So then back into our industry area here, and then we'll go grab the grain farming. Oops, I hit a button. So where were we? Grain farming. There's a lot of shortcut buttons, and I don't know any of them. So, you know, I've been hitting some stuff. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to plop this kind of right... Do I want another small road, a small dirt road? About here? And then we'll kind of make that a little like a holding road for that. And then, yeah, we'll bring it right out to the end. And then what I'd like to do is we'll get it up to the road. And then kind of right where this area starts to fade, we're just going to bring it kind of right along that area. You can see where it gets like, you know, more yellow, like lighter, and then kind of just fades away altogether. We're going to bring it right up to the end of that. And then we'll follow the road. Ooh, there we go. There we are. And then, oops, why... I wouldn't have let that connect. There we go. There we go. Okay. And then we have a nice little grain farm. Again, also not connected to power or sewer. Or sewage. So let's go ahead and grab our small power lines again. Okay, so that cleared up the power issue. And then we just have water. So let's just grab that and connect it all up again. So we'll grab it right from where we left off the last time. There we are. Okay, so that got rid of that. Now, the very last thing that I want to do for this episode is grab actually one of those water lines, and I'm just going to drag it all the way out to the edge of the map. And what that will do is we will be able to then actually sell water that way. So if we go into our production tab, services, and then water and sewage, we can see that we will start exporting. Probably not a lot because we've started to use a bit more now that our city is growing up. But if I speed it up a little bit and wait, we should see this number change, and we should export some. There we go. So 398, again, not a lot. But as we add in more water sources and kind of build the area up, now we're at 625. It'll continue to increase, and we can actually check out electricity. And because we added in those wind turbines, we're also exporting a little bit of that. So has that helped with our deficit? You know what? I forgot to check it at the beginning exactly what number it was. So I don't know if we're making more or less than we were before now, but there we are. I want to say it was more. I think we've gone down a little bit, but not a lot. You know, these do cost quite a bit of money. So while we are exporting for profit, or well, maybe not profit, we are exporting for money. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're making a profit with them. And the same thing with our production. We can see now that we are at least producing surpluses of these things, which is great news because we can use them in our city and we can sell them to outside sources. So hopefully, you know, especially with, again, the bugs going on in the system at the moment, hopefully this stuff gets sorted out and we should make decent money from all of this, especially as we build it up a little bit more. I just wanted to sort of get started on it and show you a little bit of how to do it and how it works and what it can do for your city. And I think I think we did a good job with it. So we've still got some not enough customer stuff going on here. But it's fine. We will sort through a lot of those issues in the next episode. The very last thing I want to do here is finally put in some of our parks. I've been saving this area over here for parks, so I want to put those in. So again, you know, this one's super simple. You go to your parks tab, and then you have the whole host available to you. This is a park maintenance depot. It just kind of maintains your parks, and that's like the first node in the development tree. And I don't need it right now, because I'm just going to keep the smaller parks for the time being, but it is the first thing that you need before you can unlock any of the others. So, and it's a nice building. It wouldn't hurt to have it, but we've got 4 development points. I could buy it right now. I'm reluctant to do so, but it might not be a bad idea. We'll go ahead and grab it, because it also is a really nice building, and I can make a little bit of a Parks and Rec kind of complex out of this area. So, yeah. If we grab that, I'll just show that really fast, what that looks like. Let's see. I knew it kind of fits right behind the school, which I think is actually perfect. So if we go ahead and take a look at it down here. I think it's a really nice looking building. Oops. I'm going to get the right angle on here. Yeah, I like it a lot. So we're going to kind of round out this area, and we're going to jump into what will, I'm just going to get rid of this building because it keeps like de-zoning itself by accident. I'm not really sure what's going on with it. So actually, in fact, I'm going to place our first park there. Not that one. A small park. Nope, that was not the right one either. A small playground, because the small playground is super tiny. So we'll put that there. And then a building can stop growing in there. Just something is going wrong with the zoning where it says that it's like not in the right zone anymore, and I haven't touched it, so I don't know what that's doing, but we'll just get rid of the problem altogether. So yeah, what I wanted to do, yes. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. We're going to make a little park zone out of here. Little green space. So I want to do a small park, kind of line it up with this road, I think. I think that'll look nice. A little gazebo, a little food cart. Very nice. And then we will grab the dog park. And I'll have it, I guess, why don't we have it line up with this road? Another very nice little park. More like an agility kind of training grounds than a dog park in the traditional sense of it. Or at least what I'm used to anyway for dog parks. But I like it, so it's nice. And then we just placed a small playground like right there, so I'm not really sure that I want to do another one, but it just kind of rounds it out if I put a third one here in this little triangular section here. So I'm going to do it anyway. And, you know, more parks are never really well, okay, so they can be an issue a little bit if they raise the land value too high and people can't afford to live there anymore. So be careful spamming parks in your city. It does not work like Cities Skylines 1 did. It can actually be a bad thing for your city if not done properly, I guess would be the right word, I guess. Okay. But yeah. So there we go. We've got some nice, beautiful trees. Beautiful trees. I want to put trees, so that's where we're going next. We've got some little park assets going on in here. I'm going to plop some trees in. Sort of make it look a little bit nicer. I wish I could fit that in there, but... Okay. So, last thing that I want to mention is, especially like with doing trees and stuff and kind of decorating your city, I know I've placed so much emphasis on going slow, and it is really important, and a way to do that without getting kind of like bored, I guess, essentially, or like wanting to just like, I want to move on, I want to get moving, I want to get to the next step. Taking the time to decorate your city can also be a great way to kind of stall yourself, to slow yourself down a little bit and wait until, you know, your city really, really needs something before you start rapidly expanding. So yeah, just taking like a couple minutes to decorate a little bit of a green space like this is the perfect way to kind of force yourself to slow down just a little bit. And sometimes, if you wait long enough, some of those problems in your city might go away on their own. So the, what's the way that I want to say this? The growth mechanic in the game is much slower than Cities Skylines 1. So I think if we check on the school, average time to graduation is 6 months in-game. So that's actually like 2 full seasons. So, like oh no, we have a fire. Our first students at the school might not have even graduated yet, because each season is 3 months. We are only in fall. We started in summer. We're only in fall, so we haven't even quite hit 6 months in game yet. So that sort of should give you an idea of how slow things go in this game, compared to like Cities Skylines 1. So it might take a while. Like if you place a university or a college and people are still complaining about not having highly educated workers, it might just be that they haven't taken enough time to graduate yet. So keep that in mind. Ah, man, we got an abandoned building too. What was the problem? Small homes, high crime, lack of internet. I just placed some parks. All right, fine. Why don't we just throw like a plaza in here? Replace that way. I actually wanted a plaza out here, but it can't hurt to have them both. And then maybe a little small playground in there. I'll hold off on a little bit more because I would like to unlock some more parks as well. Anywho, we are getting so far off track now. That is it. That's the bulk of the episode. So the last thing I want to do is, somebody left a couple brilliant suggestions for district names, and they gave me 3 of them actually. So Julie Mayfield 3321 gave me Dill Valley, Gherkin Glen, and Cornichon Hills, which are just perfect. Very appropriately silly and with the theme of what we've got going on in the city here with Pickleton. So we're gonna do that. Not specialized area, district creation tool. So again, just in case you missed that, we go into this areas section here and then district creation tool, and that's how you create districts. And we're gonna actually turn off all the snapping because I kind of want these to kind of be right next to each other. So we'll do one district on this side. So we'll name this one Valley. Okay. And then the next one we will do on this side of the bridge. And this will be Gherkin Glen. And then we don't have the area up here quite yet. Like I said, I didn't want to zone it just yet. I want to wait until we get this area zoned up completely before I start making other suburbs places. So this is obviously going to be, this is just, naturally, this has to be Cornichon Hills. It's on the hill. So that's what we're going to do here. Cornichon Hills. So thank you, Julie Mayfield 3321 for that. And also, I did forget to mention another thing that people had graciously informed me of is, so I was having trouble with the bridge, like creating pillars. So if I created this like long bridge and there's not a pillar in the middle, they said that I could just double click and then it would be there. So there you go. That's how it's done. But yeah, it was really just that simple. So thank you for that, and really, truly all the other suggestions that are in, that people are leaving in the comments. So hopefully you learned a little bit of something about kind of how the production works. And again, hopefully the system is bugged out, and by the time you are trying to really implement it in your city, it actually works as intended. Otherwise, that is it for today. We will be doing some expanding in the next episode, I think. Quite a bit of it, I would say, and trying to fill out this entire area, our starting tiles here. So if you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate you leaving a like below, maybe even a comment telling me what you liked best about it. Again, all comments, suggestions, tips, anything you've got, leave them in the comments below. I really appreciate all of the engagement, all the interaction. It really helps out the channel, and I just love hearing from you all. So thank you all so much for that. But yeah, so if you found this, if you found it helpful, feel free to leave a like below and let me know. And if you're looking forward to seeing that expansion next episode, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications so that you don't miss out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.